This is Brindlewood Bay, the Ninth Step, Part 9. Let's do some recapping. We are currently doing a sweep mystery, the Hex Files. The Mavens found a pair of, or found, they found a car wreck where a couple of FBI agents were looking into, apparently, according to the files that they stole from the car, the FBI agents were looking into some disappearances of people traveling through the nearby town of Devilwood. They called in the wreck and then took the files and went up to Devilwood to see what's going on. Devilwood is a pretty empty town. We've described a few things there that you can see, and I can give you some. I can recap that for you later if you need. But basically, they got a room or a couple of rooms at the local guest house with the incredibly accommodating and polite owner, Millicent Osborne. And then they also went to Elsie's Diner where they met said Elsie as well as the local sheriff. You have one clue on this complexity 8 question, which is we have questions and answers here, or questions and opportunities. What's been happening to the travelers who go missing in Devilwood, and who or what is responsible? It's a complexity 8. The opportunity is resolve the mystery by confronting the person or entity responsible for the missing travelers and putting a stop to their actions. So, one little detail that came out as a result of the Gold Crown Mysteries move is the people of Devilwood are turning translucent. There is a man who's staring at the Mavens from outside the diner window, and he's like very far gone. Like you can see into his skin pretty clearly on his face as well. And other people in the diner had just had like small indications, like on their hands and things, that their skin is becoming translucent. This is not a clue, but it is really interesting context for this mystery. So let's see where it goes. Taking a look at the Mavens, everyone's in good shape in terms of conditions for the most part. So we're good to go here. I think we ended right with you all making this discovery of the sort of Devilwood look before we ended the session. So we'll just pick right up with the four of you in the booth of the diner, and take it away.
I wonder if there's something in the water that makes their skin look like that.
I knew that the United States infrastructure for water was questionable at best, but oh, surely this is a bit too far.
Do you think they're on a boil warning?
Ooh, I don't know.
I've had like at least 10 cups of water since we've been here, which is why I'm running to the bathroom so much.
Oh, can I see your hands, dearie?
Oh, oh, and a doll holds out her hands, but she's got her eyes closed so she doesn't look.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, what is it?
I love the painting on your nails, dearie. It's so nice. Oh, this color suits you so well.
Oh, you're so
Muriel,
bad.
you can't
Oh,
do that.
Shocking
do what?
behavior.
She has
I was just observing that I like the color. She doesn't often pick, Easter green, but it suits her well.
look. I think there might be an explanation for this see-through skin, perhaps. There was a family in West Virginia. Me and Trooper did a little bit of a deep dive investigation on for a little bit. We're only a few people that got to talk to them. They're called the Fugits, West Virginia. They're also known as the Blue Fugits or the Blue People, West Virginia. But it was kind of a genetic disorder that passed down through them. They had a methemoglobinemia,
Is
which is
that?
like a genetic disorder that made their skin appear blue.
I have a question. Is that at all related to coal mining?
It's West Virginia, Muriel. Everything's related to coal mining.
I figured as much.
But that would mean the entire town is well
I
well
swear to God, if you say related, I'm going to smack you across this table. All right, Rosemary, I like you a lot. And I never like to put my hands on one of my friends, but I'll do it if you bring up the I word while I'm sitting here.
Well, it could be lead poisoning, maybe. I don't know.
You see Atlas relax at that and go, lead poisoning. Very reasonable.
I don't know. I think that maybe there might be something fishy going on about perhaps there's I don't know. Oh, ladies, I know we're supposed to be on vacation. On the other hand, I've got a mighty storm of brewing in my stomach that I want to investigate and meddle in some local affairs.
That might
You
just
have
be
some of the
the
lamp.
food.
That might just be the food. Yeah, exactly.
Do not eat the olives.
Yes, I would not recommend the olives. They are very wet.
Well, I can't imagine I've ever had a dry olive except for in a dry martini, but I'll tell you, dry martinis are awfully wet.
I dip one of my French fries in gravy. Take a little bite.
I'm enjoying the turkey club I ordered. I mean, like, I got real food. Y'all are weird. Like, I got
Everyone in the diner looks on at French fries and gravy in horror and disgust.
No, it's good and delicious. And I don't know whose voice that is saying that my fries are so gross, but you're wrong, voice.
Girls, I think she's losing it.
All right, so
I-
let's assess where we're at.
Yeah.
You have this FBI file, you have this strange detail about the people in Devilwood, and you do have some other places to go check out if you wish. There might be more to see here. I will note that Doll, when you went to the bathroom, there was a really funny smell, and it wasn't like just a regular bathroom smell. Something going on in there. Also, there might be more to learn at the guest house. There is a mansion up on the hill. There's the woods and various other. There's an abandoned sawmill as well. All kinds of weird stuff.
It's like late too, isn't it? Though, like it's like nighttime.
Yeah, well, no, it's like it's probably like getting to be early evening. The sun is still a little pink in the sky, but.
Is there anybody in the diner that we're in that looks particularly interesting? Like a person that might know what's up, what's going on around here? You know?
There is a woman there who is, she is interesting in the sense that she's absolutely covered in sort of like costume jewelry and bangles. And she speaks in a really dramatic fashion. Elsie, for example, comes up to her and says, well, Bessie, what are you going to have this evening? And Bessie says, I have consulted the cards, Elsie, and I think that the cosmos would like for me to enjoy a BLT this afternoon or this evening. So she's, she sticks out.
Alice is going to be like, I'll be right back. If y'all want to have some of my lamb fries, feel free to try them. They've got a really good crunch on them. And Alice is going to stand up and is going to slide over. Is she at the bar or is she in her own booth?
She's in her own booth.
Is going to slide across from her in her booth and say, by sticks and garters, you seem to be the most interesting person in this diner. Hi, my name is Alice Olinger. I'm from Brindlewood Bay by way of West Virginia. It's a pleasure to meet you.
She takes your extended hand and clutches it tightly in her two, like almost gnarled talon-like hands, and she says, I see a dark street, lit only by moonlight.
Yeah, I mean,
all around you, a deep sense of foreboding.
Oh, man,
No.
I was walking out of my.
No, it can't be. You must beware.
Beware of what? Now, my street back home does have a distinct lack of light on it. I've tried to talk to the city council, but they won't budge on that. Is there something I got to watch out? Is there a pothole?
You are going to face the horrors of the world, and I can help you navigate them if you come by my shop and let me read your fortune.
Oh, I don't know about reading my
For
fortune.
just $29.95.
That 5 cents does make a lick of difference. If you said $30, I wasn't going to budge on that. But I mean, I'm
Well, it's
starting
a
to think
marketing
about it.
thing. It's how it worked. So
It's very smart. It did work. It did work. I, I don't know. I used to be into all that kind of tarot and Ouija and everything like that back when I was in college. But I don't know. I don't think all that's for me really. But
very well
29.90.
then. Step blindly off the precipice and see where you land.
Well, hold up now. I don't mean to be so rude. Do you have like a business card? Can I get your name at least so I know where to go if I want to
My
traipse
name
in the dark with a lantern?
My name is Bessie Johnson.
Bessie Johnson.
Yes.
Pleasure to meet you, Bessie.
I would say the same, except you are surrounded by darkness.
You know, somebody that looked like
Darkness I am willing to shine a light upon.
Oh, that's very generous. The last person that said I was surrounded by darkness did not offer nary a flashlight or a matchstick.
For
so
the low, low price.
$29.95.
$29.95.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll talk to my friends over there. They're the ones having the local cuisine, and we'll get back to you. All right, Bessie?
And she closes her eyes and sets her hands on the oilcloth. And she just breathes.
Alice is just going to quietly slip away. And then just take a picture of her real quick, just like real quick while she's alming. And then slink back to the table.
I think I turn to Alice when she comes back and just pointedly say, I won't be having what she's having.
So, what are we all doing at this point? You have a interesting possible lead in Miss Bessie Johnson, local eccentric. Yeah.
I think Muriel wants to go, that FBI case file, super interesting. However, she's not got the head for that. Muriel wants to go take a walk through the local woods and, see some nature and see what, she's actually never been to the American Southwest. That strangely looks like the Canadian North.
It will probably be pretty dark by the time you get up there.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. As long as you know.
As long as, yeah, exactly. Because I want to see what like herbs and stuff they've got around here. Plus, there might be spooky things.
Indeed. Doll, what are you gonna do?
Well, I'm not going to go out into the dark in the forest. Not that I'm afraid of the dark. I just don't want to go into the dark. I actually kind of want to go back to the bathroom and see if I can figure out what that smell is.
You
The
can.
diner.
And so the bathroom is it's a unisex bathroom, so there's like a couple of urinals and there's like 3 stalls and then wash basin.
I think I flip open my phone and I call Gerald.
Oh, okay.
So I can describe the scent to him and he can tell me what it is.
Oh, that's very good. Let's have the roll first. Do a meddling move with presence, I guess.
Ooh, that is an 11.
Very good.
I wanna bump it up to get a.
There's no bumping it up in Sweep Sweep. There's nothing to do. On a 12.
Yeah, there's no point clues. Darn. I wanted a spooky thing.
You got as good as you're gonna get. Gerald picks up and says, Miss Ryan, how are you enjoying WhoDunitCon?
Oh, Gerald, we haven't even gotten there yet. We've stumbled across a different mystery. You know how it is.
Another mystery. Another murder?
I'm not really sure. There's some sort of strange disappearances happening. We're in a place that's either New Mexico or BC. I'm not really sure. People are disappearing, and I'm in a bathroom that smells really bad, and I don't know what the smell is.
Maybe you could describe it for me. I happen to have a practical mental archive of olfactory knowledge.
You are an olfactory genius, so you're absolutely the person I called for this reason.
You can describe the smell to him, which is, it's the smell, the coppery smell of blood, the bitter, offensive smell of burnt hair. He says, Ms. Ryan, I don't want to alarm you, but blood and burnt hair is not a good sign in any place, really, but especially in a town that is apparently suffused with mysteries. Would you say that
Unfortunately,
there's
Gerald, I
also,
think I am alarmed.
would you say that there's also a sort of undertone of, say, incense or candle wax?
I give a big whiff.
Sure.
Yes, something sort of sandalwood or beeswaxy, that sort of natural scent.
Ms. Ryan, there
Gerald?
is a cult ritual activity going on in the vicinity of your location.
Oh, I don't like this Satanist stuff. Oh, goodness.
Are
Gerald, what should I do?
you in a secure place?
I'm in a bathroom in a diner.
Okay, that'll do. He says, turn on your phone camera and flip the camera around so I can see what you're seeing.
Okay, is it this button? Then I hang up by accident and I recall. Oh, that wasn't it.
That
Is
goes
it
on for a
this
bit,
one?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, so you're like moving it around for him, right?
I have my thumb over the lens for a little bit, of course, but then I remove it. Yeah.
He says, right there, Ms. Ryan, right there.
Right here?
He says, of these 3 stalls, that one, in the gap beneath the stall, there's not a shadow being cast from a toilet bowl. There's no toilet bowl in that one.
It's an evil stall?
Why don't you go ahead and open that up for me and let me take a look?
I open it up, but I hold the phone in so that the phone looks in before I do.
He says, yeah, I'm seeing that there is, in fact, not a toilet, and in fact, there is a hole in the wall. There seems to be some kind of secret crawl space in this bathroom stall, Ms. Ryan. I suspect that's going to be the location of the secret ritual activity.
Well, I suppose I should check it out. Just give me one moment. I'm just going to send a text message to my friends so that they know that I'm crawling into the scary wall.
I'll take care of it for you, Ms. Ryan. You just go ahead and crawl down in that hole and let's see what we can see.
You'll stay on the phone with me, of course, right? It's dark in there.
Of course. Hold on just a moment. And he is currently like blending some kind of like drink in a blender and pours it for himself. And all right, then go ahead, Ms. Ryan.
Okay, here I go.
This is how we find out Gerald's a cultist. He's just getting you killed.
I get down on my hands and knees, and it's making gross noises because this is a bathroom floor in a diner, and
here
I
is
used to work in diners, so I know how gross.
Here is the fullness of your clue. When you go down into this hole, this little crawl space, which you have to crawl around in, it's quite dark. And at first, as you're moving the camera around and your little flashlight or whatever, you don't see anything. It just seems like they were doing renovations and they busted a hole in the wall. But then you get to one far corner, and in the far, far corner, there appears to be something hunched there. And then you realize it's not moving. It's a statue of a rat copulating with a toad. And there are candles and incense burners and other things all around it. This is your clue. Gerald says, Well, that is really disturbing, Ms. Ryan. You should go ahead and probably crawl out of there and don't tell anyone what you saw, because if I know my strange mystery cult towns, everybody here is in on it. So you'll want to be careful about saying what you know to people. I will research cults related to rats that fuck toads, or excuse me, copulate
Oh
with toads,
my.
and I will get back to you.
Gerald, you are an absolute doll. Thank you so much.
Ah, I see what you did there, Ms. Ryan. Also, I just want to express to you as well that I'm very impressed that you, as a Canadian, crawled into that dark space.
Well, I wouldn't have done it if you weren't on the phone with me, but we're not going to tell anybody that.
Indeed. Okay, so that's happening. Let's cut over to Rosemary. Rosemary, what are you doing?
Well, I'm not going to go out into the woods in the middle of the evening and possibly go out in the dark. That's just tempting fate. I imagine in a small town like this, they may have a local library or a more touristy spot.
Possibly. It's not on the main road.
Mhm.
And the sheriff did note that people don't come through here very often.
Mhm.
But you can definitely look around for something like that. Alice, what are you doing in the meantime?
Oh, Alice is absolutely going to go sneak out into the woods and go to Betsy Johnson's hut
Oh, very
for a
good.
low price of $29.95.
Indeed. Actually, her place is right here on the main street. You don't have to go
Even
that far.
better.
Yeah, you can't miss it. There's a big sandwich board with crystal balls and stuff, painted on
How thoughtful.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to I will just go ahead and just be like, the rest of the girls are off doing their own thing. It's the part of the vacation where you kind of do your own exploring. It's fine. And it's just going to kind of slink off down towards there, adjust herself. Gonna be like, oh, tarot or palm reading, this kind of, I don't even know what to call it, and just kind of prepare herself for whatever comes about.
Fantastic. Let's start with Muriel. So Muriel, heading up to the actual woods. There are many ancient trees around Devilwood. Unusual for this part of the country. The forest canopy is so dense in some places, only a small amount of light, whatever's left of it anyway, filters through to the ground. There is a trail through the woods, but it is overgrown and easy to lose sight of. Let's paint a scene as Muriel is kind of stepping along the trail. What unusual item has been left as an offering in or to the forest?
On some of the trees, there's there's these little nooks that have naturally formed, but pouring out from them is candle wax, and just this strong sense of sandalwood is in the air.
Keeping it in the family of weird drippy things, there's an abundance of maple sap kind of globules, like the kind they'd make up in, definitely up in Canada, but really anywhere though there's pine resin or sap to work with, globules that have been hung from little things of twine from the trees, giving this kind of sweet sappy smell in the air from these sticky little globules that hang around.
To add on to that, in some of them, some of the larger globules, if you look, it's kind of like the amber that the dragonflies and mosquitoes in Jurassic Park have. If they look like these amber things, and inside of them look strangely like eyeballs.
Are we playing Trophy?
We're getting there, I
Always.
feel like. Is that everyone?
There are missing posters that are about 50 years old that have had designs almost like snowflakes or something cut in around the edges of them, and they're hanging from some of the branches.
I think I want the night move, Muriel, for you to continue pressing forward in the night on this trail.
That's fine. This doesn't technically work with my Sam Spade move. It would be if there was a public place. Because I'm allowed to move freely through any place at night. But I love this. I'm afraid. What am I afraid of happening here? I don't know. Probably something coming out of the woods and giving me a problem. I don't think Isaiah Langmore is here, so I think I'll just roll.
Yeah, just roll.
Can you imagine?
I think are we in night move or day move? I'll push it to night and say it's worse than that. You are going to be confronted by a creature of ill omen.
That's fine. I'm actually going to mark Isaiah Langmore's key, so I have his flashlight, so I'm shining light around.
Sounds good.
Woo! And what was his plus?
Probably composure.
Boxcars. That's a 13.
Nice. Very good. You keep it together. And after a time, you actually find yourself at the gate of that Spanish colonial manor house or villa at the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the tinkling of a fountain in the courtyard, and you do see that there is someone home. There are lights illuminating the place. What do you do?
Well, I think the first thing Muriel does is if maybe have a look around the premises, see if there's any interesting herbs growing around here, just kind of getting she's been doing that on her walk up, and other than that, she might if it looks like there's a means of getting in, I'll open the gate, walk up to the front door, and look around and see what they've got going on.
Go ahead and roll the meddling move with reason.
Totally. With reason, that is a 9.
A 9. I think you are able to step inside the courtyard because the gate is open, but there will be the complication is there. Well, actually, I owe you a clue, but the complication is going to be basically you're going to get spotted by whoever lives at the house.
That's perfectly fine because my last advancement I took Sam Spade, so I'm allowed to. I have something about Muriel. Seems like she has a bit of an edge, so at nighttime I can enter any place I want and move about freely, so long as I'm not hostile or
good
doing anything like that to people who are there.
I like it. Let me give you a clue.
Great.
Your clue is really directly related to what you were doing, which is you find a poisonous herb. You can define it later, but that is your clue. Ooh. And it's growing in abundance around the manor. As you step through the courtyard, you are greeted by a man in an immaculate white suit, wearing a walking cane and a wolf-like, almost predatory grin. And he says, "Welcome to Casa Montez. I am Lucario Montez. And you are?"
Muriel McGregor, Mr. Montez.
It sounds like you have traveled a very long way indeed to reach my home, Miss McGregor.
In truth, I was enjoying a pleasant evening stroll through your woodland, but I cannot deny that the sight of this Castilian manor at the edge of town drew my eye.
Well, your timing is very good, Miss McGregor, because we have just set the table for dinner, and I am dining alone tonight. Why don't you join me?
Well, I'm not typically in the habit of dining with strange men in fine suits and smiles that stir some kind of deep-seated emotion in me, but I'm also feeling a little adventurous tonight in a new locale, so why not? It sounds lovely.
Splendid. Please, follow me. And he takes you into Casa Montez, which is the oldest building in Devilwood, dating from long before Devilwood was founded, back to the days of the conquistadors. The estate has been added to over the years and is an eclectic collection of architectural styles, though it is largely Spanish-style villa, as noted. The building lurks behind a very high wall, like a predator in its lair. let's paint a scene. An interesting paint the scene question, given the circumstances. What feature, apart from the wall, makes it clear that guests are not welcome?
I think when entering the house, like typically there's in most places there's coat racks, things to hang up your stuff on, except in this place there's only enough space for the owners of this place. Maybe 2 hooks at most, and both have coats on them.
The doorbell has been disconnected, and there's a small sign on the door that says no solicitors, no knocking.
I mean, I truly think that the just interior courtyard is full of brambles and kind of like hostile, means of maneuvering that's like, don't walk up to the front door. Go away.
The trees surrounding the property and leading up to the front door are dotted with multiple security cameras.
I'll add a detail as well. As you exit the courtyard into the house, Muriel, you'll notice that the fountain I described earlier does not have nymphs or Greek gods or any other sort of romantic depiction. It is, in fact, a grotesque rat that is rendered in the statuary that appears to be sinking its teeth into a smaller animal, and that's what the water is. It's meant to look like the blood of the animal dribbling down into the fountain. This way, Miss McGregor. And he takes you into this hall that is illuminated with chandeliers and candlelight. It's very dimly, romantically lit. And we'll come back to this scene in a bit. Alice Ollinger. Bessie Johnson's place is, you follow the sandwich board into a little alley and then the side door entrance to where Bessie Johnson's apartment / place of business is. When you go in there, you probably smell a strange mixture of whatever, tea or coffee that Bessie has put on, combined with sort of the smells of, your classic fortune teller shop smells, patchouli incense and that kind of thing. And she says, "Ah, I knew it. I knew the dark path upon which you walked would lead you to this place. And here you are, prophecy fulfilled. Do you have a desire to stare into the dark corners of the cosmos?"
Yeah, I'd reckon that's why I'm here. I just have to ask, do you take
Do you
checks?
also have $29.95?
Well, yeah, do you take checks? Because I have some folding money, but that's really for the convention that me and the girls are going to. And
Yes, a check is fine. That's all right.
Very good. Do you like dolphins, horses,
Oh, a
or
choice.
whales?
Oh, let's go with the whales. That's great.
Whales. Oh, that's a great choice. I love whales.
Whales are a very spiritual animal.
I'm sure they are. And Joe fill out $29.95. Do I just make this out to Betsy Johnson like a personal thing, or do you have to have it for a business expense? Or
And she's like, my name will be fine. Yes, that's good. All right, well, let's dispense with this. And let's step into the void. Let us go beyond the threshold of our awareness.
God, I'm excited. I've never done anything like this, so this is just...
Spirits, we call to you. Tell me, what do you see in the path of this poor benighted woman. The spirits are whispering to me of murder. A very high amount of murder, actually, disturbingly so. Are you you're not a murderer, are you? No. No. You are the sort of person who sets things right. And yet, there is another. One who desires you, but who has not yet spoken aloud these words. One who you harmed. And rather than hating you for this, it makes them desire you even more. One who, I am told, is an actor of stage and screen, very well regarded. Okay, fine. Spirits. Yes. Oh no. No. It can't be. She reaches for her tarot cards, and she flips over the top card, which is the Tower. She's like, oh, you're fucked. Well and truly fucked, ma'am. You're going to have to leave now. I don't need your money. It's very important that you leave right now.
I already filled out the check and everything, and it's going to offset my checkbook when I do balancing and
fine,
everything.
It's fine. Fine. Just slide it over. It's fine. Good.
Are you sure there's nothing more? I mean, just tell me I'm fucked doesn't really help me out here, Bessie.
And she sort of, her lower lip quavers. Ill omens. Ill omens. Mm-hmm. And indeed, as a player, Alex, you get to define the specific circumstance that, if it happens, will plunge Alice Ollinger into darkness and ruin.
Oh. Okay. Let me take a look at Alice's sheet just to see what I can incorporate from this. Okay, yeah. I think it's going to be that the specific omen circumstance, and I'll word it nice and vague.
Alexander last name, I think I know where you live.
I don't think you do, Wes last name. When Alice places the photograph of a dark truth in a scrapbook filled with pleasant memories, there will be a knock.
If this ever happens, Alice, whatever mystery is happening at that time, you will be at disadvantage for the remainder of that mystery. Unless, or until it's resolved, you do get an extra XP at that time, but so you can trigger it yourself by doing the said thing. But
nice, fantastic, good stuff.
She says, I gave it to you as a cozy thing.
You would try to master the ephemeral using technology such as photographs. But that will be your undoing, Alice Ollinger, she says, looking at your check. Alice Ollinger. Do I have that right? Ollinger?
Ollinger. Depends on where you're from. So it's fine.
Well, the second L is capitalized, so I thought it was maybe like Alabama Ice. I wasn't sure.
You know about Alabama Ice? Sheesh.
You will place a photograph in the hopes of wrangling a memory but that memory will be an omen, an invitation to ruin. If I were you, I would never touch a camera again.
Gasp as she touches her photography bag.
Now, our time here is complete. And she does her little breathing thing and puts her hands down and just goes quiet.
Well, this has just been a riveting experience, and thank you so much for the camera. Fortune, Nightmare, what have you. I do have one question. Me and the girls don't get out on road trips often, and since we are here in the specific southwestern United States, I was wondering, do you know where we could find some peyote, maybe?
There's nothing. She's not responding.
You're doing some aftercare. I'm just gonna go out of here. Oh, I love these candles. I'm just gonna knocks over something, picks it back up, and then just walks out, visibly shaken.
Fantastic. Rosemary, I don't think this town has a library, but you do see something that might be equally interesting and is maybe what you're thinking of or looking for. You see a woman who is wrestling a bag filled with some kind of equipment, and she is dressed a little bit like Laura Dern in Jurassic Park, like, you know, sort of khaki shorts and, you know, shirt, that kind of thing. And she might even look kind of like Laura Dern, tall, kind of gawky blonde. And she's heading over to the guest house. She must be staying there. What do you do?
Oh, I'm going to come over and try to. Oh, are you okay? Can I help out? It seems that you're struggling a little bit.
She's like, "Oh, that would be that would be terrific. Thank you." Um, yes. And she sort of like takes one of her bags and says, "Oh, that's great. Are you from out of town as well?"
Yes, we're just traveling through it. There was a bit of a detour earlier.
That seems to happen a lot around here. Have you had a chance to meet the proprietor of this establishment? She's very pleasant.
Oh, yes, yes, she has a lot of anger at light bulbs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say life, but yes, that is probably also true. I'm Dr. West, Henrietta West.
A doctor of what specifically? Because this is a lot of equipment here.
She says, I'm here I'm doing some research. I received some private grant money, and I'm here taking some measurements and calibrating some different, you know, it's all very science oriented stuff.
Is it about the people and why they're kind of transparent?
Make the meddling move with presence.
Okay. That is a 7.
A 7. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and continue.
Yeah.
Dr. West, Rosemary says, I'm an archaeologist, and this is not the sort of place that people in my field normally come to. But, well, there is a wealthy local gentleman who is interested in so-called buried Spanish gold, and I'm here to help him find it, I suppose, although I'm not sure how much luck we're going to have. This is your clue, though. Rumors of buried Spanish gold. She says, what are you in town for?
Oh, well, me and the girls are traveling through to go to Whodunit Con, and it's just a very interesting stop along the way.
Whodunit Con? Oh, are you like into mystery books?
Oh yes. I'm a big fan of the Amelia Delacourt series, the Gold
Oh,
Crown Mysteries.
I love the Gold Crown Mysteries.
Oh my gosh. I it's so rare to just find fans, particularly out on the trails, outside of cons and whatnot. But
She's
it's
like,
just
so yeah, well, she's like, we should,
mhm.
I'm done here for today. You want to go? Let's go grab a drink or something, and let's chat
Yeah.
about the Gold Crown Mysteries. That sounds great.
Oh yeah, let's go.
She says, globe-trotting super sleuth Amanda Delacourt is actually, um, well, there's a chance that she might actually be based off of a certain globe-trotting archaeologist
Really?
whose last name is West.
Oh, and how would you know this information? That's
I might have a connection to Robin Masterson.
oh, I really would like to know more.
I'm sure you would. Um, and she's like, let me just put my stuff away. And
Mhm.
then she goes to put her things away. Your complication is just that Dr. West is like, wants to be your friend now, for whatever that's worth. Um, let's cut over to Doll. So Doll, what are you gonna do now that you've discovered secret occult stuff going on in town?
I think I'm going to go back to the rooming house. I'm going to go back to my room because now I'm a little spooked.
Indeed. As you go into your room, this is, I guess, the first time you've gone into the room. Let's paint the scene, everyone. What evidence is there in the room that someone was kidnapped from here and the evidence of that was covered up?
There's a spot of the floorboards that has very clearly been like sanded down, but if you like pay close enough attention, there are still slight gouts in the floor that could just be simple scratches if it weren't for the slightly discarded chunk of a fingernail that's still embedded in a splinter.
The paintings have been rearranged in an odd manner to poorly cover up holes in the drywall that have been poorly patched over.
In between the floorboards near the door, just kind of, you know how the floorboards can interlock, just sort of underneath one of the interlocks, and it's hard to get out unless you really like pry it. There's a gold tooth that had been knocked out of someone's mouth.
The half the curtains is just missing.
Doll, after you put your stuff down, get it all sorted, I think you maybe look out the window of the guest house to see that the sheriff's vehicle is slowly pulling up next to the guest house and just parking there as if he's keeping an eye out. What do you do?
Well, what I want to do is that thing that at least older ladies that I've based Doll on do. Stand just to the side of the window and watch what's going on. But I feel like I should have a little bit of a drink to calm my nerves. So, is there a mini bar in here?
There's not. No.
I think I'm gonna turn on my police radio just in case he's on the
Oh,
radio.
try to get a little bandwidth. As you're looking at the window, I don't know if this really, I don't know if it's quite meddling move level yet, but you'll notice that he pulls a photograph out from under his little sun visor, and he's looking at it, and he's just kind of staring at it, and then he puts the photo back, and then he just drives off.
Interesting. Okay. What
What do you
else
do?
what is in this guest house? Like, we know there's the lobby and then there's the rooms.
You can look around, especially the way we've set up to paint the scene. Do a meddling move with reason.
Ooh, what's my reason? That's a 10.
10.
Level 10s.
We'll come back to this. Alice, you practically stumble into that old drunk that was staring at you in the diner window. He's like, oh, excuse me. Didn't mean to startle you or anything, ma'am.
No, you didn't. I apologize if we made you feel a little bit icky earlier, me and my friends. I'm a bit more used to strange things. But that's just from where I'm from.
He
Are
grabs you
okay?
by the hands and pulls you close.
Oh, okay.
You can
well, this
see
is...
now, pulled up close, you can see his jawbone. You can see his tongue sliding around in between his teeth.
Okay.
He says, "Get out while you can.
Oh.
I've seen what lies on the other side of the veil, and you do not want to cross it. If they discover you've been looking around, asking questions, talking to me, you're doomed." Make the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve right now?
I'm afraid that Alice is gonna immediately start crying. It's been a very she's typically a little bit more stout and stoic, and it's been a very intense day, and she's tired, and I think she might just kind of show her true colors a bit.
And it's worse than that. I think that you will be spotted having this emotional moment with this man, and you will be marked by the conspirators. Go ahead and roll with composure. Possibly sensitivity. No, composure's fine.
Composure's fine. I mean, it's the same thing, yeah.
Okay.
All right. I got a 9.
A 9. I think between shadows over your shoulder and fish out of water, I want you to roll a third die and see if it makes it worse.
I got an 8.
Okay.
One less, yeah.
Indeed. You keep it together. I am going to give you a condition. You've already got fish out of water and shadows over your shoulder.
I think I'm going to put on a crown. I'm sitting on 2 conditions right now.
Sure.
Pardon a large
Crown of the
truck
Queen?
just went by.
Crown of the Queen, or do you want to mark one of the mystery crowns? Crown of the Woods.
We'll do Crown of the Woods. Or Crown of the Queen. Crown of the Queen. I've already marked a Crown of the Woods.
Make your mark. You're keeping it together. He says, "My name is Walter Ephraim. Come find me. Come find me at the abandoned sawmill, and I'll tell you everything I know." And he looks around nervously and then disappears into the shadows.
Okay. Weirdo.
Indeed. Muriel McGregor. This dinner is really something. It's a long table. You're seated at one end, he's at the other. There's all kinds of fruit bowls and flower arrangements and candelabras all along the table. He has servants bringing in dishes, covered with silver cloches, and all this stuff is kind of going on. And the room is dominated by an enormous oil painting of a Spanish conquistador that looks just like your host, except your host has gray hair, and this conquistador looks like a younger version of your host. And the conquistador has a rat on his shoulder, and the rat is whispering into his ear in the painting. It's a very strange painting. And Lucario calls down to you. How are you enjoying your dinner, Ms. McGregor?
Well, I admit I did eat a bit before coming up here, but it is lovely, Mr. Montez, was it?
Yes. Montez.
It's delicious, delicious.
Excellent. I'm glad
yes.
you're enjoying it.
Hey, so, Mr. Montez, I'm curious. You live all the way up here at the just edge of town by yourself. What is your relationship to the fine folk of Devilwood?
He says, oh, my people have been here for many, many years. We date back to the time of the conquistadors, and he points at the painting.
Hey.
We were here long before Devilwood. I'm something of a relic.
I see. Your ancestor, then?
Yes, that's one way of putting it.
Gotcha. Not exactly a squeaky clean reputation those lot have, eh?
Well, I think you'll find, Ms. McGregor, that history has nuance.
History is often told by the people who had the most power and claimed it was nuanced.
Very, very interesting. I didn't know we were going to be getting into a discussion about politics, but I welcome it, Ms. McGregor.
I'm not exactly much for discussing politics, but I mean, mostly given the fact that I'm not from around here. But what is it you're just old money then? Just a relic of the town's founding support?
Old money, yes. I'm not embarrassed to admit, but also I haven't completely gone fallow in terms of intellectual pursuits and inquiries. I fund a fair amount of research.
Research?
In the area, yes.
Interesting. What sort of research do you get up to?
Well, I'm very interested in old books. I'm interested in the days of the conquistadors as well as other people.
I'm a book reader myself, though mostly given to fiction.
I see. Yes.
I hate to be sorry, hate to cut you off. May I ask where the little girl's room is?
He says, yes, of course. And he will motion for one of the servants to direct you, point you in the right direction.
I'm going to snoop.
You're going to snoop around as you go to the bathroom. That's good. Do the meddling move with composure.
Cool. I'm specifically referring to any information I may have read from the FBI case file about him while I'm looking around his place.
Nice. You can mark that.
You said plus composure?
Yeah.
Terrible, but not bad. 8.
8. You, once the servant's out of the way, you can sort of break away and start poking around. You actually hear some noise coming from what appears to be a basement. There's some stairs going down. You hear whirring devices, crackles of electricity, bubbling liquids.
Well, that sounds very interesting.
What do you do?
I think I'm going to go check that out. Look around and...
Complications, I'm going to make you roll a night move to...
That's totally... I welcome that.
Nerve to go down there.
What
do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
If I lose my nerve, that I'm going to be caught here, kind of snooping around.
It's worse than that. Yeah. You are going to be the focus of whatever's going on down there.
Oh, delicious. Why would I ever back down from that? What am I rolling plus?
Composure.
Composure? All right. 2 dice on this. Snake eyes. I'll hear the complication.
We see Muriel going down the stairs. I do owe you a clue, which I'll give you in a bit, but
Mhm.
actually the clue is just the presence of this, whatever this is down there. But we see you going down the stairs, and there is a light that lights the stairway, but then the lights go off, and we just see a shot, kind of a underneath shot, looking up at Muriel as a shadowy figure rises up in silhouette behind her, and we are going to cut to commercial. Cut to commercial. Let me give you a prompt. I gotta look it up first. I don't have the prompts ready. Let's see here. I'm gonna come up with a good one though. Gotta find it. Okay, your prompt. We've done Possum Be Gone, right? And I think we've done Calamities.
Yeah.
You are going to do Them's Good Eatin' Depression Era Novelty Foods.
You got it.
Be thinking of your commercial. We'll leave you to it for a bit. Meanwhile, who should we check in with? Doll's looking around the room, right? What'd you get in your die roll, Doll?
10.
10. Okay, so I owe you a clue. Rosemary, you were chatting with Dr. West. We'll pick up with that in a bit. And Alice Ollinger, you just got accosted by Walter Ephraim. Let's pick up with Dr. West and Rosemary. So you're back at Elsie's Diner. She hasn't had dinner yet, so she's ordering dinner. And she's just like going on and on about like, oh, and do you remember in, such and such book when Amanda did this and that, all this. She's kind of going on and on.
Yeah, it's just a very excitable like conversation from Rosemary's End about like the very intricacies of like how Amanda Delacourt solves mysteries, about how she's able to get into all these sorts of interesting situations, as well as the current controversial debate of the supernatural like sub-series of like the novels.
Absolutely. She's like, yeah, I don't know if I like that direction. I mean, I get it. It's, it's the year 2023. Like you have to do certain things to like make it sell, put a vampire in it or whatever. But I just like the classic sort of, sort of international intrigue, the the murders, the corrupt government officials. I don't know about Amanda Delacourt, looking into zombie kingdoms and stuff like that. It feels like a weird turn.
Yeah, especially when like the multi-parts often negate the supernatural. It's almost as though they have a few ghostwriters on this sub-series. Like it's just terrible.
I've heard a rumor about Robin Masterson.
Do tell.
Well, I can't say, because I do have a connection to Robin, and I feel like it would be a betrayal of that trust if I said something. But let's just say that Robin has to outsource a lot of the writing of the series.
Interesting. Of course.
No one author can publish 19 books a year. It just doesn't. It's just inconceivable.
It's just not possible. But that's reasonable. I always suspected something.
Anyway, this is going on. Getting no further along in the mystery solving.
Yes. Like there is just. So, anyways, have you heard of a place called Brindwood Bay?
Oh, that feels like a good cut. Doll, let me give you your clue. Which you find in the room Oh, doll. You find a photograph of one of the missing people. It is underneath it's like kind of tucked, just sticking out barely under the little tray where they put like the coffee, the plastic coffee cups and coffee pods. And it's just a picture of them smiling, kind of wearing like camping gear, making a funny face, maybe, at the camera. That's your clue. And I'll note here that, just because I think it's interesting, that the sheriff was looking at a photo.
Yeah.
Before driving off. What do you do then?
I think I'm going to start typing out a text message to my fellow friends, my fellow mystery solvers, and I'm going to say, "Hello, ladies. This is Doll. How are you? I am okay. I went into a dirty, smelly hole in the diner, and there was cult stuff. And I don't think I've been in a hole that dirty or smelly or tight since my dildo days. I also found a photograph of one of the missing people, and the sheriff is being very weird. Thank you. Sincerely, Doll." Just to catch everybody up on what's happening.
What's happening?
I think while I'm doing that, I'm kind of just, looking around the room while I think about what I want to say, and I notice something in the lock, the door, just above, no, not in the lock, just above the door. There's a sprig, like a piece of fennel.
Oh,
And
interesting.
looking at that, after I finish my message, I go and I take a hairpin and I just sort of dig around in the locks, and I find fennel seeds. And I go back to my message. Also, did you know that in some cultures, fennel was used to protect against demonic influences? If you hang it over your door, it is supposed to help protect you. Some people would even put fennel seeds into the locks of their doors to keep, the bad things out. Of course, in some modern Wiccan cultures and beliefs, it also is supposed to keep out law enforcement. I'm just saying because it might be relevant. And it might
Nice.
perhaps be a clue.
Indeed.
Sincerely, Doll.
After you all scroll through this incredibly long text message from Doll, Alice, you're reading through the text message. You're out in the streets. What are you doing? You probably see the sheriff drive off around the time that this is going on.
As soon as I see the sheriff drive off, I'm going to send a text message that says, "Ladies, against my gut, I feel like something strange is afoot at the local sawmill. I'm going to make my way there carefully, and I suggest that we all meet there post haste. Don't worry, I shouldn't be in any danger as long as I don't utilize any photography."
It's a litany of weird text messages between all the mavens.
It's just gonna get slightly weirder. Sorry, ladies. I think I'm on a date with a ghostwriter of the Golden Crown Mysteries.
Meanwhile, Muriel, a shadow rising up behind you, and then we cut to commercial.
Are you an egg or a dame who longs for a simpler time? Are you spending your days bumping gums at the juice joint with 2-bit crumbs? Well, get ready to kibosh mundanity with Them's Good Eatings, novelty meals that'll blow your wig. We offer watered down milk, shipped beef on toast or waffles, casseroles of any variety, macaroni and cheese, cream, chicken, and biscuits, slug burgers that include no slugs. So get on the horn and call Them's Good Eatings at 1-800-DEPRESS.
Bravo, bravo. Instead, your night move is a 10 plus, and the lights come back on, and oh, it was nothing. You may proceed a pace down the stairs, Muriel.
Yes, I do.
Indeed, when you get down the stairs, there's a laboratory down here. Beakers bubbling away. There's, electrical machines. It's very mad scientist kind of looking. What do you do?
I mean, as a herbalism enthusiast, I'm looking around. I mean, like, obviously chemistry and alchemy is out of my depth, but look around and see if I can understand anything that's being made here, like what's going on. I'm not really machine minded,
Yeah,
but
I love that.
science,
Do the meddling move with reason.
happily. Yeah. Oh, it's a 5.
I think as you are looking around, you come across a glass vat or jar, inside of which is a perfectly translucent baby floating in a fluid. And the little baby opens its little fish-like eyes and begins pawing at the glass. And then you hear a voice behind you. Oh, Miss McGregor, you really shouldn't go poking around in people's homes without their permission. You might find yourself in a spot of trouble. And do you want to turn a key?
Put on a crown?
Or
Yes.
put on a crown? Yes.
Yes,
all
I
right.
do.
Do you want to do Crown of the Woods or Crown of the Queen?
Yeah, Crown of the Woods. Can you send the prompts back in
We'll
the
send the
chat?
prompts, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll mark one of those because we have 2 of those left.
Yeah, I think you've done the first one, which is you've done the third one, which is acting on instinct.
Yeah, impulse, yeah.
The 2 that are remaining are each Maven describes a disturbing dream they had the previous night, or each Maven narrates a flashback to when they faced a natural hazard.
I think we can go with the disturbing dream.
I think so, yeah, it makes most sense here. So everyone has to do that. Everyone has to talk about a dream they had last night, or maybe your first night in Devilwood, as the case may be. And instead, you still see the vat with the baby, the translucent baby. And that is your clue. But
a vat with a translucent baby. Got it.
Yes, and I want you to roll the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
Oh my god. Probably that I'm going to yelp when it opens its eyes and alert whoever's upstairs that I'm down here.
Yeah, I think it's worse than that. There is someone hiding in the shadows who's ready to dispatch you.
Oh, that is worse than that. Thanks. Yeah, just with composure. All right.
Yep.
Don't screw me over again, man. It did. It's a 5.
The baby opens its eyes and begins pawing at the glass, and you cry out. And that's when we see, lurking in the corner, what appears to be some sort of grotesque creature just lurking there. And it heaves its bulk toward you. You don't see it, but you hear it as it lets out a terrible, guttural cry. Badok! Badok! And that's the last we see of Muriel McGregor.
All right, second crown. Just going to stack those on top of each other real quick.
Indeed.
You never have too many crowns, ladies. I'm going to let that one be, honestly speaking, probably Crown of the Void. I'll mark the Chariot.
Oh, you can't take Void. That's not available.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Then I'll just do Child. Queen. God.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Getting all of our CFBs mixed up today.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Instead, I'm just going to give you a condition. How do you feel when you see the baby?
R- repulsed.
Okay, you can take repulsed as a condition. Let's keep this little train going here. So Doll, Alice, Rosemary, sounds like you are all maybe trying to meet up. Maybe not Rosemary, but Doll
Not
and Alice,
Rosemary.
maybe you are. What's everyone doing right now?
I think Alice is walking along the road, like phone flashlight in hand, and finds a sign to the sawmill, and just like, oh, creepy woods, oh, so spooky, like we don't have those where I come from, okay. And just like walking around like along and everything, just trying to maintain cheerful. just just whistling and walking along this trail to this sawmill.
Doll, what are you going to be doing?
Um, well, since we were called to the sawmill, I'll be going there. But I think because it's dark and scary out, I'm gonna call Gerald again, just to have somebody on the phone with me.
Indeed. It says, Ms. Ryan, you're alive.
I know, it's a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I was just getting ready to turn in for the night, but I am, of course, always happy to take a phone call from you.
Well, I'm sorry to bother you, but it's just I'm about to walk into a scary forest, and well, I'm by myself.
In the dark?
Yes, so I was hoping that you wouldn't mind staying on the phone with me for a little bit while we walk.
Of course, certainly. I'd be delighted to.
Did you find anything interesting out about the stuff you were researching?
Oh, no, actually, I didn't. I'm sorry. I cracked open a book of poems by Pablo Neruda, and I just got distracted. I
You do love
was
your
actually in the
poetry.
middle of that right when you called.
Oh, well, how about you read me some poetry and I'll just keep making my way towards this abandoned sawmill in the middle of the night outside in the forest.
I
In the
love it.
spooky
There's
town.
a sort of strange dramatic irony here in this scene, I feel like, Ms. Ryan. And so you are also walking in that direction. Rosemary, you might see Doll leave the guest house.
Mhm.
Um, Dr. West will say, "Oh, well, this was quite, quite a terrific encounter. I'm so happy we met, Rosemary.
Mhm.
I was beginning to think that I was going to be, well, just sort of by myself during this little gig."
Mhm. Yeah, this town is just very fascinating. Like, there's just the people here are very unique. Like, you can see through their skin. It's it's just a very strange thing. Have
She
you seen
says,
anything like it before?
No, I don't think I have. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I have just been mostly just digging around in the woods and in the desert, in the scrub
Hmm.
since I've been here.
Well, I figured that sort of archaeologist yourself, you would have some interest in the people, but
Not really. No,
mm,
that's more of an anthropology thing, I think. I
mm,
like them. I like them dead and buried,
oh, well,
long dead and buried.
well, if you like them dead and buried, I was just made a little bit of a joke that just come to Brindlewood Bay, you would find a
Brindlewood
lot.
Bay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a really charming town.
Hmm. Yeah, so pretty much a murder every other month, really.
She's like, I thought that sounded familiar. Yeah, the sort of like famed murder capital of the Eastern Seaboard.
Hmm.
You're from there.
I moved there a few years ago.
Are you on the run?
Um, no, more or less, I just
Did you use your knowledge of murder mystery books to figure out how to get away with it?
Oh no, it's more or less I use my knowledge of murder mystery books to actually solve the murders in Brindlewood Bay.
She's like, oh, because
Yeah.
that's definitely how crime works. Great. Well, um,
Well, frankly, there's a bit of a cultural phenomena in Brindlewood Bay. They have all sorts of history related to whales and supernatural things. So it's just a very neat conflux of various things.
that's very interesting. I haven't done much. I haven't looked into the old whaling towns too much. Not long dead enough for me, but I'm sure it's fascinating.
I mean, like mid 1800s sort of thing.
Oh,
Like,
practically a newborn babe in my line of work.
I mean, we're in the United States, so this is nothing's going to be older than
A reckless toddler at best in the grand scheme of things.
my. Well, yeah, if you ever want to chat more about Amanda Delacourt, and I give Dr. West my phone number.
She's like, oh, well, thank you, Rosemary. And she takes it and she says, I think that's one of your friends
Yes,
walking off there.
into the woods, maybe going to die, but so I probably should do something about that.
Yeah, probably. And then she'll take care of the check. And let's cut over to Muriel. Muriel, you're in a real strange situation right now. What are you doing?
I mean, honestly, I think I'm gonna quietly get out of the basement and politely get back to the dinner table so I can excuse myself from my host and just thank Mr. Montez for the lovely dinner.
He says, "It was very nice having you tonight, Miss McGregor."
I appreciated the meal greatly, Mr. Montez.
I'm so happy to hear it. Miss McGregor.
Mr. Montez.
Before you go, you should know that I was raised to be a gentleman, and it distresses me a great deal to have to take extraordinary measures to solve problems. Rumors have a way of taking on a life of their own, especially unfounded ones, and sometimes extraordinary measures are needed to prevent rumors like that from spreading. I do hope that anything you might have seen during your stay in Devilwood will not leave Devilwood.
I come from a place where discretion tends to be, well, a matter of perspective, but also you don't go spreading one place's business to other places that have none of it.
Very well, then. I bid you adieu. Have a wonderful night.
You too, Mr. Montez. Oh, and if it's all right for me to say, my late husband, Gavin, was a bit of a cook, not to the extent of your fancy service household here. Simple things, pub food. But if I might pass along a little bit of a rustic recommendation for your recipes, you could ease up on the salt a little bit. And you actually would probably do better using lard instead of whatever oils or butter your kitchen staff is using. Better for the digestive tracts. Might even recommend just maybe swapping out some of the ingredients. Overall delicious, but little improvements will benefit you a bit.
I shall pass those notes on. It's a shame you have to leave right now. We were just about to have our dessert course.
And what was for dessert, Mr. Montez?
Oh, here it is now. And the servant brings in a covered tray and lifts it up. And it's a clear jelly mold dessert with bits of fruit floating inside of it.
Well, that does look good. I am rather full.
Ah,
I hope you enjoy your dessert, Mr. Montez.
of course, Miss McGregor.
Yeah, I will leave. And this is actually a great way to use my oh, hold on. Moving things around. Use my Crown of the Queen. I marked a scene in the present day showing a private side of you very few get to see. I think when Muriel leaves Castile de Montez, she is gonna like walk away for a bit and like pull off. I know it's night and it's in the woods, but she's gonna like pull off and kind of like, sit down at the base of a tree and just kind of like a moment where she's just kind of like, she's Slate. And then Muriel's just gonna like kind of like take a few deep breaths and just get like really like kind of like emotional and distressed for a moment and just kind of like have this like intense like actual like exposition of like a mixture of like kind of overwhelmed, a bit of like a little bit of fear, but mostly this kind of like crack in her otherwise strong, stable kind of demeanor. And she just kind of has to like have a moment. She just kind of like, weep for a soft moment by the tree. That baby thing really shook her and she's really disturbed. And she will get up. And I think I'm also going to harvest a few of those poisonous plants and add some kind of poisonous concoction to my cozy little place.
Indeed. Alice, you are the first to arrive at the abandoned sawmill. And this mill was once the center of Devilwood's economy, but now, of course, it lies abandoned. Some of the machinery still remains, but you can tell just at a glance through the windows that this place hasn't been used for many years. Let's paint the scene, everyone. What clandestine activity has been conducted at this site in the intervening years?
There are beer bottles, cigarettes, blunt joint roaches all over the place. There are suggestions that teens have been having beach blanket bingo style parties up here at this sawmill. Just full ruckus.
There are tracks and marks and footsteps in the dirt and the sawdust that's left on the floor that looks like people have been practicing dancing or learning to dance up in this sawmill. Very strange.
Is everyone cutting footloose in Devilwood?
I think the like door to the sawmill has been like boarded up and the boards have been removed like several times, so it's just like surface level. But I think if you were to open the door on like the edge of it, it says, "Please don't go in."
I think that there is around the back a bit of like chicken wire netting essentially that's like been like cut open. There's a slit in it, a little bit of a rut that's been carved underneath it, signifying that several people typically will move under and sneak through the exposed wiring, kind of like this under space on the foundation level of the sawmill. And there are melted handles, stumps down there.
A little bit of ritual activity, a little bit of dancing. That's good. Also, I thought no one puts Bessie in a corner. Now, you're the first to arrive, Alice. What do you do? Oh, we can't hear you, Wes.
That was a really good whisper. Just gonna like walk around and just be like, Walter? Walter?
Make the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
That Alice is just gonna turn around and leave. Just be like, fuck it, this drunk ain't here.
It's worse than that. You are going to encounter Lucario Montez's enforcer. Roll with composure.
Oh my. That's a 10.
A 10. Very good. You are keeping it together. I think you kind of step into the sawmill, maybe stepping over some rusted, some jagged, rusted bits of metal strewn in the doorway. And you see on a sort of like upper catwalk in the central kind of like mill part, on this little catwalk, you see Walter Ephraim, the moonlight from the high window actually going through him because he's transparent. And he waves at you to get your attention. What do you do?
Oh, thank God. All right, Walter, I'm up there. Guess I'm gonna try to shimmy my way up there.
There is a ladder if you want to get on the ladder.
Absolutely. I would the most secure way route up there.
Doll, you're coming up the path to the mill, and you hear a car behind you, and indeed you are caught in its headlights eventually, and indeed it is Sheriff Hanscom. He pulls up beside you and he says, "Ma'am, this is not the kind of place you want to be roaming around at night."
Gerald, the sheriff is here. What do I say?
He's like, "Just play it cool, Ms. Ryan. There's only a 35% chance that the sheriff is involved in the conspiracy and indeed possibly the leader of the conspiracy.
Okay.
The odds are in your favor."
Okay. Stay on hold, okay?
"I will."
And I press the hold button, but I don't. I hang up.
You hang up on him. Yeah, absolutely.
Sheriff. How are you?
It's like,
Lovely
"I'm doing
night
very
for
good."
a walk.
Is it though? You probably should want to be getting back to your room there, ma'am.
Oh, well, I thought I would just continue walking this way.
Towards the old sawmill? I don't recommend it.
Yeah. Well, I love historical sawmills. They're my favorite thing to learn about.
He says, "How interesting. Well, if it's that important to you, I guess I can come up there with you."
Oh,
No, it's no
no.
trouble. Hop on in.
Okay. I
He
get in the car.
pops open the door for you. He's like, "You don't have to worry about anything, ma'am. I'm the good guy."
Oh,
Well, I didn't expect there to be a bad guy. Is there a bad guy I should be worried about?
Oh, just the world's filled with bad guys, but I'm not one of them.
Oh, good. Neither am I. That's reassuring. Well, since I have you, Sheriff, this is a strange town, isn't it?
He's like, "This is a strange county, ma'am, not just strange town."
This sawmill we're about to go and see. When did it close?
Oh gosh, it's been since, well, at least 20 years now, maybe a little bit more.
Huh. That must have been hard for the townspeople, Source of income gone. Seems
Yeah,
strange. There's lots of trees.
he's like, "There are a lot of trees for this part of New Mexico, you're right.
Yeah.
It's unusual." He's kind of pulling up, and the lights hit the sawmill, and he's like, "Hold on a second. I think someone's in there. You wait here." And he gets out, he draws his weapon, and he He puts his hand in his gun and he's approaching the sawmill. He leaves you in the car. What do you do?
I look at the picture he was looking at.
The picture is him, but younger. And he's got his arm around another guy who's looks even a little younger than him. And this guy has looks like some sort of like Illuminati t-shirt thing on.
You, God damn it, Jason.
Rectangles or pyramids or something.
Satanism. I knew it.
Always. Secret society shit, definitely.
I hastily put the picture back up so it doesn't look like I was looking at it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get out and go towards the sawmill.
Indeed.
I hold up the phone. Gerald, I'm going to the sawmill. Stay on hold.
He's like, hold on just a second, Ms. Ryan. Let me turn down this Michael Bublé record.
I hung up on him though.
Oh,
So
that's
actually
right.
he's still on
Oh, that's
there.
right. He's
Yeah, I just don't know what's going on.
Indeed.
Poor Gerald.
Good. Rosemary, you are behind them, I take it.
Yep.
Rosemary, when you arrive, you just arrive at the sheriff vehicle idling on the road. You don't see Dahl or anybody else. You just see the vehicle. What do you do?
Well, chances are if I try calling Doll, she'll just hang up on me if like she's in a dangerous situation and I have no idea how to find her. I'm going to call Alice.
Alice, is your phone on silent or not?
It's vibrate. Alice
Okay.
is yeah. I think just like getting up to the last ring of the ladder, going, oh shoot, calling me all at the most inopportune times. Gonna pick it up, and be like, hello.
You're like hanging on a ladder.
Hanging on a ladder, like, hello.
Alice, where are you? I see this cop car outside the sawmill. What's going on?
There ain't no cop car. I'm hanging out on a ladder. Actually, I'm trying to get up. You just called me at like the wrong time. I don't see a cop though. I see Walter, the translucent guy that we saw before. Actually, kind of in this light, he looks a little bit like Kevin Bacon. But like if you had like a sticker of Kevin Bacon and it'd been on a car window for too long and it just kind of sat there and faded for a little bit.
All right, well then there might be a cop incoming, so be prepared.
There ain't no teenagers up here or anything. What would they be? Oh, thank you for the heads up. You're there. You always know how to say the sweetest things to me. All right, I'll see you soon.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm slowly approaching, but like I'm trying to keep an eye out for any cops. Because where there is a cop car, there is a cop.
There's nobody at the car, but he can't be far because he left the keys in the ignition and the engine's on. What do you do?
I'm going to try to sneak into like the sawmill.
Let's check in with Muriel and then we'll take a break. Muriel, where do you go after you're done at Casamontes and grabbing poisonous herbs?
I think I'm gonna head back into town, honestly. There's something fishy afoot. Probably gonna walk back to the guest house.
I think as you're walking back to the guest house, do you have something to say, Rosemary?
Yes, before I head in, I'm going to just text Muriel because I don't know where she's at because she never responded to any of our previous texts. You may have to bail us out later.
I like to think that I'm getting none of these because Muriel's phone is dead. She just forgets to charge it. So
I think as you're walking into town, you see a young woman coming out of the diner, and she's like, "Oh, God, Mom, yes, I'll be okay. Don't worry about me. Okay, I'll see you after you get off work." And she walks out, and she kind of pulls her hood over her head from her hoodie, and she hikes off in the direction of the woods.
Where I'm coming out
She's kind of coming in your direction. Yeah.
Late night stroll.
She's like, "Oh, but What are you supposed to be, like the Highlander? There can only be one.
The young lady, the only Highlander that I'm aware of is William Wallace.
She's like, is this
That's-
where we pull out katanas and start?
No, I left my broadsword back in Massachusetts.
Right.
Mm. Bit late to go wandering about the woods, isn't it?
She's like, yeah, I guess so. Whatever. Robert the Bruce, FTW. All right, and then she leaves.
Robert the Brute. What? What? Young lady. Does she just keep?
She just walks past you. Yeah, going
Young lady.
deep into the woods.
Fine. All right then. Right. Well, beware the translucent babies. Jeez.
When you turn back, you see a raven, glossy black plumage, a curved, sharpened beak, and a terrible gaze. And it cries out to you, or maybe to this girl, in its raven voice, Nunca más! And then it flies off.
I didn't speak Spanish, but I'm pretty sure that bird just said nevermore at me.
Make the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
That I'm going to follow that bird wherever it flies.
Oh, very interesting. And it's worse than that. The bird's going to lead you directly into danger.
Oh, perfect. Plus composure.
Sensitivity.
Ooh, -1. This is going to be good. 7. Not as bad as it could have been.
I think I'm going to give you the condition marked by the Devilwood Raven.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's take a 5-minute break. Okay. Alice, you get up to the catwalk with Walter Ephraim, and he comes up to you and he just gives you a clue. He says, listen to me, and listen well. The key to unlocking what's going on here in Devilwood is to know that this is not the real Devilwood. The real Devilwood burned down 30 years ago. But that fire was kept covered up. The town was rebuilt, and no one spoke a word of the property and life that was lost that day. That's your clue. He says, I'm sorry for having to meet you in such an unusual place, but I thought it was appropriate considering the sawmill is the only thing left of old Devilwood.
Hey, that's concerning. So is everybody here like a ghost?
And then you hear down below, Walter, probably best you go ahead and come on down from there. You too, ma'am. And you see the sheriff down below.
Well, things are about to get a little sticky here, but before whatever happens next happens, can you do me a favor?
What?
Can you say, but we did dance? We danced our asses off for me.
And then he gives you a puzzled look. And Sheriff Hanscom says, I'm only going to say it one more time, Walter. Come on down. And Walter says, oh, I'll come down all right, Sheriff. And Walter jumps. And lands on the sawmill floor. A splatter of transparent goo. Doll, I assume you're coming in around this time. Sheriff says, ma'am, I thought I told you to wait back in the car.
Oh, I thought you said that I should come with you.
Oh, this situation just got a lot more complicated. Ma'am, you need to come down from there.
What you gonna do? Shoot me?
Well, if you don't come down, I'm
Please
gonna
don't
have
shoot
to.
her.
I'm not gonna shoot her. If you don't come down, I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm gonna have to charge you as an accessory in this man's death.
I didn't do shit. He just jumped.
Well, ma'am, why don't you just come on down so we can take care of this just rationally and let's just talk it through.
If I come down there, we're just going to talk it through, all right?
We're just going to talk it through.
And if anything else happens, any other funny business happens around here in this facade of a town, well, I'll let you know that my child is a very, very popular and successful litigation and criminal lawyer in out west. Here, I reckon. Well, not here exactly, but you know what I mean.
Ma'am.
I think while they're arguing, I'm going to go look at the goo pile.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to see except, yeah, it just looks like a goo pile. And he's like, ma'am, step away from the remains. This is a crime scene now.
Is there like a...
If Alice says she didn't do anything, she didn't do anything. Are you calling my friend a liar?
Ma'am, it's technicality. A suicide is a crime still. This is a crime scene. Though it still hasn't been established that your friend didn't have something to do with it.
She said
I didn't do shit. Is there like a slide or something? I hate that ladder. I almost cut myself.
He's like, you just take your time, come down safely, but come down.
That is kind of sweet of you. Find a way to carefully come down.
Rosemary, you said you were sneaking into the sawmill. I think this is a night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
It's not quite as much as sneaking as in breaking into the sawmill and being loud about it.
And I think it's worse than that. I think it's worse than that. I think the sheriff will... I think it's worse than that. I think the sheriff will arrest you.
Mm-hmm. And it's composure, I assume?
Yeah, composure looks pretty good for this. Yeah.
Do I have any personal quarters items that I can use?
Cozy little place.
Oh yeah, cozy little place. Absolutely not. Everything makes noise.
What you got?
Ooh, that is an 11.
Oh, very good. You get in and you are able to react to anything that might happen here from the shadows.
Okay. Since I've entered a place for the first time, what is about to happen?
He is getting the Mavens down and together in one place so he can execute them.
Why?
Because he works for the big bad of this scenario and has a lot of vested interest in nothing getting out about what's going on in Devilwood.
Mm-hmm. All right. Because I was breaking and entering in a place, I presume I have some items of my cozy little place, and I brought my cricket bat that says Andrew on it.
You're gonna hit him.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him.
I like how you're doing this based off a hunch. Like you don't have any proof that he's gonna do anything to them.
To be fair, I have the pallid mask marked, and I think that we're
True.
gonna die if I don't do this.
Yeah, this is just maybe a symptom of your madness. I love it. Let's check with Muriel though. Muriel, what are you doing right now? You've been
I'm back. Yeah, I've been marked by the crow. But I want to go back to the guest house. I don't know that anyone else is traipsing about an abandoned sawmill. It's late. I'm tired.
I think you meet the what's her name, Miss Osborne, Millicent Osborne. She says, "Creeping about late, I see."
Is it creeping about to be returning from a walk?
Idle hands do the devil's work.
I was invited to dinner at, the Montez place. I'm just coming
Speak of
back
the
from
devil.
that. Is he the devil?
Well, he's a devilish man, that is for sure. Though you didn't
I
hear
will-
that from me.
I just heard that from you, though I will disagree that he does have a devilish grin.
All kinds of strange things going up at Casa Montez.
Oh, I know. I saw some weird things.
Oh yeah? What did you see?
What do you think I saw?
You go first. What did you see?
You go first. You've lived here longer.
Yes, but you're in my guest house.
Okay. But what if you're in on it and this is a conspiracy and you'll stab me in my sleep?
Well, either way,
I guess
You
I have
stand-
nothing to lose then.
you have nothing to lose, and you stand a chance of learning what I might know by me inadvertently telling you.
Fine. I saw a baby.
A baby.
A baby. That's right, a baby.
That's not so interesting. Though I
Oh,
didn't-
but it was a baby in a vat.
a baby in a vat.
A baby in a vat. Floating.
All right.
Like a sound of a
Unusual.
19th
Unusual to be sure, but
Mhm.
certainly not the only baby in a vat that's ever been seen.
Oh, but probably the first time in Devilwood.
Possibly. But Devilwood is a remote desert town, despite all the foliage. And Devilwood, well, remote desert towns have roadside attractions. And so
Playing at the vat baby is a roadside attraction.
I'm just saying that you might have seen such a thing in a roadside attraction in a remote desert
It was
town.
neither by the roadside nor was it displayed as an attraction. Now, by the terms of our agreement, it's your turn to say something now.
Well, I just thought you were going to have something more interesting to say than a baby in a vat.
Okay, presumably the owner of Casa de Montez is an immortal conquistador.
Well, now we're really getting somewhere. Very interesting. I will tell you what I know.
Wait, before you do, hold on. Reach in my bag. Not mechanically, but like I will pour some of my heavy peaty scotch glass tumblers for me and Millicent and just narratively some nice drinks as we're discussing.
I know for a fact that Mr. Montez hasn't paid his property taxes in over 30 years.
Well, he's wealthy. No, that's nothing new. That's not strange. That's the most expected thing about him.
Well, seems we have both shared our information.
That we have. Do you intend to kill me in my sleep?
I haven't decided yet. You should sleep with one eye open just in case.
I sleep with both eyes open. Thank you very much.
Oh, the scotch.
Mm.
I don't mean this scotch. I mean Scots people.
It is bloody good scotch, though. You've got to admit.
And she says, "Checkout's at 9.
I'll be checking out at 8:30.
Very well. Don't expect coffee.
Don't expect a tip.
Tip. Ha! She goes back to the back, closes the door, slams the door. Indeed. Meanwhile,
Going up to my room.
back at the sawmill. Let's roll Rosemary. I think this is going to be with composure to sneak up on him and club him with this. I want to know what your phrase is going to happen if you fail.
I try to attack a cop and I get arrested.
I think it's worse than that. You are the first on the kill list as soon as that begins. Please go ahead and roll with composure.
And I'm marking my cricket bats.
Very well. Roll with advantage.
Oh, glad I marked advantage. That is 9 total.
9 total. I think the complication here is that Alice, from her high position, sees you sneaking up behind the cop, and she doesn't know what you're doing or what's going on. Alice, what do you do?
Wes, you're muted.
Know what you gonna do with that thing right there?
Fuck.
He turns and he says, "Did you attack anyway?"
Yeah.
I want to follow up night move with not vitality. Was it vitality? What's the strength one? Yeah, vitality.
Vitality.
Roll with
vitality.
What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
It's gonna be a straight up shootout at this point because I'm literally face to face with a cop who has his hand on his weapon.
Oh yeah. It's worse than that. He kills you. He plugs you. Go ahead and roll with vitality.
My God, Alice, how could you betray me? That's a 3.
A 3. He demonstrating remarkable reflexes for a man in his mid-50s. He just pulls out the gun and fucking John Wick style just gets it right in position, and then bam, and your brains just go flying all over the back of the sawmill. The little mallet thing falls, and he says, "Well, this is not exactly how I thought this was going to go down, but here we are." And he turns to Doll and he raises the gun. Unless you're putting on a crown, Rosemary.
I'm putting on the crown, the last crown of the forest. So.
Oh, the crown of the woods. Okay, very good. What does that one do?
Each maven narrates a flashback to when they faced a natural hazard.
All right, everyone knows a lot of stuff right now. I think this feels like a good place to do a cliffhanger on the action.
Ooh.
And let's go ahead and do these various crowns that need to be resolved. Whoever wants to go first. Or let's take a 5-minute break so you can think about them, then we'll come back and do them. So let's go ahead and do some crowns here. Everybody owes a couple of Crown of the Woods, and some of you might have other crowns as well. I'm not sure. Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I can do the flashback to facing a natural hazard. I think as Doll is walking through the spooky forest at night here, she's thinking back to one of the other times, one of the reasons why she's not comfortable in the dark. It was during a particularly bad blizzard in Dildo, and her and Michael, her husband, got stuck in the war. Of course, their antique shop. And the snow was so bad, it went all the way up over the door, and we kind of flash back to the camera, and we see Doll, 20 years younger, and her husband playing crib in the back room of the war with eating some hardtack. They can't even soften it. There's no hot water. They're just kind of crunching the hardtack. And every now and then they look up at the clock to see what time it was, and time hasn't really passed very much. And they're kind of both sigh, play some more crib. Doll gets up and opens the front door of the war, and the snow is completely covered it. You see the imprint of the door in the snow. After a little while, she goes to check again because she hears a knock. and somebody has dug out just a little corner at the top of the door, and we see Danny, her son. This is the first time we've really seen Danny, and we just see his face. He's got a pretty like chiseled face. He's got a nice close cropped red beard and big friendly eyes, and he gives a big smile. Hey mom, I brought you some beers. And he hands in a 6-pack. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks, Danny. Thanks, my boy. We were getting right thirsty here. Thanks. So she takes the beers, and he says, "We'll have you dug out when the storm's done. Should be a couple of days. I'll bring you some more hardtack." And she says, "No, thanks, Danny." Goes back to the table, and they start up another crib game.
Yeah, we see Muriel flashback to younger Muriel in Scotland. It's out in the countryside. She is actually driving a lorry, like a little kind of truck. We can see that in the back it's laden with basically just like stock and supplies for her and Gavin's pub. She's a little put upon because their usual deliveries were kind of halted because there's a storm, and she's like, well, I'm gonna be damned if we're gonna go without basically our main things that we need, so I'm just gonna go pick it up myself. And she has been caught in a really, really bad torrential downpour, like lightning, just going all over the place. And at one point, there's like a in the tire bursts, and she gets out and just downpour. Like she is immediately drenched to the bone, as she begins to stubbornly try to change a tire in the middle of a downpour, but her hand slips on the tire iron from the rain, and the tire rolls off the escarpment down a muddy slope, and Muriel just like stares down at it and takes a few tentative steps off to like go after it, slips on the mud and just fully goes tumbling ass over tea kettle down to the bottom, gets the tire, and the following is a montage of her repeated attempts to climb back up the slope, muddy, stomping up after it, sliding back down, trying to get a running start, feet slipping on the mud, and then just tumbling all the way back to the base, trying to like roll the tire in front of her. It slips out of her hand. She has to run back after it. She falls back down. Multiple of this until we see the edge of the escarpment, and then like a hand come up, grab the grass as she like drags herself in the tire. She is coated in mud. She is soaked with rain. And as she like gets up to the very top of the hill, panting, there's a crash of thunder, and she just yells up at the sky with utter indignance. And when she stands up and brushes off her skirts, like movie set levels of comedic timing, the rain just stops, and she just drops, and then goes back to putting the tire back on. She could have waited.
While Alice is staring down from this catwalk, or this guardrail, this rusted hunk of metal, we get a flashback to the 1970s. Alice is young, flirty, and free, wearing a bikini top, cut off shorts, drinking beer at the Blue Hole right outside of Morgantown, West Virginia, one of the most popular watering holes in America. It's known for a giant train bridge that crosses over the Monongahela River, where kids get drunk and jump off of it. It's nighttime. There's some metal bins with fire pouring out of them. You can hear guitar music playing off in the distance. And her friends have all jumped off into the water, and it looks pitch black down below. You can just see them dotted down below, and they're screaming, "Come on, Alice, you big fat chicken!" And they're making the bok 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 noises and everything like that. And Alice is leaned over the edge of the rail, about to jump in, but she's stuck still. She's scared as hell, and she just hears a voice beside her say, "I'll jump in if you jump in." And you look over, and we see young Trooper wearing shorts, 5-inch inseam, wearing a Playboy bunny shirt that's cut into a crop top and big Coke bottle glasses, looking down. And she goes, "What the hell do you mean if I jump in, you jump in?" And he goes, I just thought maybe if you had somebody to jump with you, then you would jump in. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. And when she says sense, she slips and she holds on to the railing, and her feet are dangling over the edge, and she's kicking with her legs with all her might. And Trooper's hanging over going, "Well, what the hell did you do that for?" And she's like, "I don't know. I didn't mean to. Help me up." And he's like, "I can't really help you up. I'm kind of scared of heights." She's like, "What are you doing up here on the bridge if you're scared of heights?" They're bickering back and forth for a little bit. And finally, he just says, "What's your name?" He goes, "Alice. Alice Ollinger." He goes, "My name's Trooper. And Alice, you're going to have to swing yourself back, or you're going to hit the rocks right below you. So you just got to have to swing your live yet athletic body back and forth like a monkey on a tree and just kind of leap." She goes, "Okay. What are you going to do? I'm going to cheer you on. I'm be moral support." She starts grumbling to herself. She does a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then finally Trooper just goes, "Jump, goddammit!" And she just swings back and lets go and splashes into the water, safe as all get out.
I think the scene is sort of happening in medias res, where it's like in the middle of all the action, where we see a very young looking Marcus Mortimer who is trying to wrestle with this fishing rod as he's like standing in the middle of the river. It's sort of this nice summer day, like there's fishing going on. There's a bit of a competition shoot for who can catch the biggest sort of catfish, and like he's struggling and trying to like get it, and like I think at one point he just slips and falls into the water, and like he's just floating on downstream still holding on to the fishing rod. And, and we see Rosemary's like, "Oh, Marcus." Oh god. And like she like pulls up her pants legs and goes trudging in along. It's not a very fast pace, but like he's being drugged by like this huge catfish, and like she just lunges for the fish instead of Mortimer, and she's just like wrestling it, trying to like get it unhooked and like just like pick it out of the water, and like she just has this in her arms and just like, "Come on, stand up, you can do it. It's only 2 feet of water." And he's just spluttering there, and that and that is how they won that competition of who can catch the biggest catfish.
I think that's everyone's natural hazards. What about the dreams?
This is the night before we arrived in Devilwood, and Doll was asleep in the car, and the rocking of the car as it drives down the road was getting into her dreams, and she was feeling like she was on a boat, sitting in a little rowboat with June Willoughby in Brindlewood Bay. Beautiful clear night, the stars are shining down, and they're just sitting in the boat holding hands, admiring the sky, pointing out, constellations or planets, or if they don't actually know them, they make them up. It's fine. um the boat starts to rock more. In fact, the water starts getting choppy, and all of a sudden it looks like the stars are gone. The sky is just black. Doll squints her eyes, her vision's not as good as it used to be, and realizes the stars aren't gone. There is a giant black wave headed towards them. She grabs the oars, trying to row back to shore as fast as she can, but she's not fast enough. The water hits their boat and flips it, and she's under the water, swirling around. She doesn't know which way is up, which way is down. Eventually, she does manage to kick her way to the surface, and her face breaks into the air. She gasps in, you know, lungful of oxygen and looks around for June. She sees a body floating and she frantically swims towards it, flipping it over. It is June, but now she's wearing some kind of mask, some kind of Greek mask. It's just white and expressionless. And when Doll removes the mask from June's face, her face is also white and expressionless. And that's when Doll wakes up.
The night before they arrived in Devilwood, Muriel was driving late at night, but got pretty tired, so ended up pulling over by the side of the road and tapping Rosemary and just being like, "All right, your turn. Like, wake up. I need to drive now. I need to sleep." And so she would have switched places and been in the passenger side as she drifted off. And she had a dream that she was walking through the woods. Nothing sinister inherently. She likes a good moonlight stroll, pleasant. But it was clear that the scenery around her was transitioning from familiar woods to more rural, deserty ones, ponderosa pines, trail getting a bit drier, kind of like dirt area, and she was walking under an unfamiliar sky, but wasn't all together phased, and she spies this little like sprig, a plant that catches her eye. It's shining in the moonlight. It seems very interesting, and she walks over and she kneels down in front of it, and when she picked it up, it started pulling out of the ground like a thread, like a really invasive weed. She had to keep pulling on it, and she's pulling these long strands of herb out of the ground that just goes on continuously. And we see that behind her, it's starting to act snake-like and actually begins to like wrap back around her, choking her neck, binding her wrists, and she struggles as these other plants begin to like creep. These roots begin to snake towards her. And as she's struggling, the sky lightens slightly. The night is being burned away by an encroaching sunrise. And indeed, over the surrounding trees, she can see the blazing orange bulb of the sun moving overhead, but it's moving too fast. And we see that the sun is not solitary. The sun is atop the shoulders of some impossibly tall, lithe being who looms over the desert land. And even though it's just a single bulbous sun head with no expression, Muriel knows it's looking directly at her. And as it leans down with this impossibly gargantuan stature towards her, the trees and ground begin to smolder and boil from the heat of the sun as the plants around her burn away. But she screams as she too begins to burn.
I think we cut to a scene of last night. Rosemary sleeping soundly at first, but in her dream, she is on a chessboard with various pieces moved at different positions. It's in the middle of the game. It doesn't appear that any side is winning over the other, and the pieces themselves look a little bit odd. They look like they're twisted in unique ways, and the back row is of all these pieces of her friends and her community, the Murder Mavens, Corn Waitley, Isaiah Langmore, even John Malkovich, and like every murder victim they have caught so far. But on the other side, there's these just horrendous monsters. And then Rosemary looks up to see who's competing against us. And it's this creature covered in a shroud, has multiple limbs, moving pieces across the board, and has a single gold eye. It seems as though I'm winning. And that's where Rosemary wakes up.
Since Alice had spent most of the day driving, Alice moved to the back of the station wagon in the trunk area. Um, Big and spacious. That's where Alice always loved sleeping as a kid. Alice is still petite, so able to just make a nice little spot there back for herself. She falls asleep, and it almost feels like she immediately wakes up, and she's in a bright white room, fluorescent light bulbs hanging over her head, leaned back in a chair, and you can see posters saying "Smile bright" and "Be sure to floss" and "Always make sure you brush your teeth for 9 minutes." And Alice is like, what the hell's going on? Feels kind of groggy. And we see Sky, her child, well, now all grown up. They're wearing their dental gear as a dentist, looking over, and they just say, Mom, you've really got to take better care. Are you doing snuff again? Chewing tobacco? That kind of stuff? You can take the girl out of West Virginia, I swear, but oh, this won't do. And you can feel a pressure, a popping as a tooth is removed. And you just hear a plink. Nurse, we're gonna need some more local anesthetic. And you hear the door open, and Alice is trying to crane her neck, but she's being strapped down. She's saying, Sky, I don't need to go to the dentist or anything. I just went this year already. And the nurse comes in, takes her mask off, and it's Corinne Waitley. She goes, oh, is this Miss Ollinger? Oh, well, this will not do. Sky, can you do a favor for me and just go ahead and make sure that your mother's taken properly cared of? And Sky looks up and says, absolutely, Miss Waitley, and starts pulling another tooth and another tooth until all of them are gone. And Corinne says, now, isn't that perfect? Just perfectly, no descriptor. Just, we'll have you fitted with these just perfectly. And it just sees like these dentures that have perfectly even, non-distinguishable teeth at all. And then you can be perfect like them. And the chair raises up, and she's in that cell that Albert Krauss is being contained in. And across the way, you can just see a bunch of people. David Chen, her husband Trooper, Isaiah Langmore, the rest of the Mavens, all walking around on all fours. They've been surgically modified, and they all have antlers on their head. And Alice just goes, ah! Wakes up. Bright sun streaming in through the back window. She's sweating. Seems like pulled over for some breakfast.
Fantastic. Is that everybody?
I've got one more, Crown of the Queen.
I think you can save it if you want, or you can do it now.
It fits in perfectly. It's quick.
Okay.
It's a scene in the present day showing a private side very few of you get to see. Immediately after waking up and stepping out of the car, Alice stretches, walks around a bit, and pulls out her phone, and opens up contact list in the messages, Sky, and just goes back, and you just see a wall of text of just the blue text bubble of Alice trying to get in contact and just saying, hey, Merry Christmas. Saw Celia this year. Hope I can get to see you to come out here on the East Coast, or maybe I can come visit you. Thanksgiving, Halloween. And there's never a reply. There's sometimes thumbs ups, sometimes just like just a like. And then the last one is, hey, me and the girls are going to Whodunit Con, and it's in town, and I hope maybe that we can get some coffee or something. And it's just left on red. And Alice just checks it and just nods her head puts it back in her purse and just kind of steals herself and walks in to get ready for some breakfast.
Let's go to end of session. We have not done the first question, but Rosemary, did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official? I would say so. Did you behave like a woman half your age? I would also say so in that regard as well, because I think Dr. West is half your age. So that's good. Doll, did you share a memory of a late family member? Yes, you did. Did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official?
Snuck his picture
yeah,
out.
that's right. Yeah, and also you disobeyed him.
That
Muriel,
wasn't so secret though.
Muriel, did you behave like a woman half your age?
Does either snooping around or getting into my like dick measuring contest with Millicent count?
I kind of like the, well, I was actually going to say that like the sort of like quasi romantic dinner with
Okay, yeah.
with Lucario might satisfy it more.
Sure, I'll like it, yeah.
And yes, you did share a memory of a late family member. Alice, did you show someone that you've, quote, still got it, including in flashback?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say with the being willing to go out to the woods by herself, just kind of like going around, just going around and climbing up ladders and meeting with strange men in sawmills. Yeah.
And did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official? Yes, you
Absolutely
did. All right. That is end of session questions. Let's go ahead and go to stars and wishes. You all talked a lot, so I'll start today. Stars all around, really great session. So fun. So it was the tone was so good. It was like this really like, there were like moments of like, kind of like there was moments of horror, there were scares, but it was all a little camp and funny at the same time. And so I kind of really just love that kind of blend and balance. I thought that was great. All the crown stuff was really terrific. Just some really, really great, like learning about these characters. Like I felt like we went really deep on the Mavens today to learn what they're all about, which is really, really terrific. And the crown narrations really, really leaned into that a lot. Everyone did a great job with that. Star for the commercial, them's good eatings. I like how you even said them's good eatings, like just pronouncing it like that was hilarious. But the commercial itself was very good. I'm very impressed that you came up with that on such short notice. So that was terrific. I love it. I love it in CFB games when everyone kind of splits up then comes back together, and it was fun. Like we kind of got the split up, because you get to see so much more of it. You get to see like go to places and talk to characters and do so many different things, and it's a strength of the system. I think that like that's ultimately a safe thing to do. Like there's no danger in splitting the party, right, in CFB games. So I really love that. We just got to see so much and do so much. The characters, we really got to see the characters kind of shine in all their different ways. I'm loving playing Gerald, who I think is like, my impression of Gerald is he's someone who's just living off your largesse. Like, like he's just there like spending your money and living in your house, basically, right? Which I think is great. So that was loads of fun. Just good times all around. Great session. And wishes, very curious what the solution to the question is going to be, because there's a lot going on here. So yeah.
I have lots of stars. Stars to Chaotic for your that whole romantic interlude and the weird flirting and the like when it started to, oh well, I'm not really into new things or anyone that hasn't died in the last 200 years. I was like, no, Rosemary, you're losing it. Just talk about dead dusty skeletons. And yeah, I really love that. I totally ship it. I also really loved the smacking the sheriff with a cricket bat moment, the sneaking into the sawmill and hitting the sheriff. It was really tense.
Great use of that move too, by the way.
Yeah.
The Dupin move.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so much fun. I really loved your dream monster too. It was freaky. I love a shrouded, multi-limbed creature. That's always great. Wes, Alice and the Psychic was hilarious. Alice and the Sheriff was hilarious, and I really liked the scene where Alice met Trooper. I thought that was that was just really nice, and it really kind of sets the tone for their relationship. Like I think I have a really good understanding of how they worked now, and I think that was a really great way to do that. Alex, the commercial was amazing. It was so funny. In tears. I really loved Muriel's quiet moment by the tree after seeing what she saw. I thought that was we don't get a lot of quiet, shaken Muriel. She's always just so brave and intense. So it was a really nice moment. And I did love the battle with Millicent. That was wonderful. And of course Muriel won. Yeah. Jason, Gerald is so much fun. I love Gerald. He's like this, like you said, this guy that's just living his best life right now. And all he has to do on occasion is make a few drinks and like
And do a Google
give
search
some
every now and then.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's so fun. And yet Doll's like, no, Gerald is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And it's just a lot of fun. This whole mystery has been great. I am so excited to see how it's going to wrap up. I have an idea for an occult move. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes, if it goes at all. So
Yeah, we're
I'm
setting up
Yes.
lots of potential avenues for the occult
Yeah.
move, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
Yeah, definite stars all around once again. Star to Jason for making Sean appear in the game. I love these little connections to public access. It's very good. No, star to Chaotic. I loved the flirtatious interaction between Dr. West and Rosemary a lot. I loved their whole little quasi pseudo date kind of experience they were having together. So happy that you're having an experience with Laura Dern. Um, big star to Wes, Alice turning into a full Appalachian Hill person, yelling down at the cops like, I ain't done shit, you can't do anything to me. Just fully just going wild, just yelling up from the rafters is so fucking funny. It's a really good insight into Alice's, and that was strengthened a little bit more in your crown prompt too, just kind of having this like hanging from the rafters and having Trooper in them. Just it's so good. I echo what Jason said, like really solid use of crown prompts today that like gave us good insights into like what these characters are about. Your dream in particular was terrifying. Like the modified antler people, like actual jump scare straight out of a Cronenberg film. Loved that. Amanda Doll going into the stall hole to like crawl into the darkness was really funny. Just being like, I trust you, Gerald. There's a skit by the Australian comedy group Auntie Donna called like I think it's an Ellen DeGeneres parody, but it's like I'm scared, Ellen. Do you trust me? I trust you. Television talk show persona Ellen DeGeneres. Just this whole like on the phone, just crawling
into the wormhole.
go into the pit. I trust you, Gerald. Yes. So that is 100% so funny to me. I love that interaction. Yeah, what Jason said, everything was just so strong about like just like the interaction. I love splitting up. I love being able to go off and just do my own thing as well. Yeah, I'm in wishes. I'm genuinely also excited to see what the theory for this is going to be, but I'm excited to get back to Brindlewood Bay and kind of on a broader sense. I kind of want us, even before it's time, if possible, I kind of want us to go check out the Ninth Step building and see what's going on there and go mess with Corinne Waitley a little bit. It's been a while.
Stars, of course, too. Everybody. Gerald, new favorite side character. My favorite oh no he's hot character, because and it's just the weird, it's like Pablo Neruda. Oh, I'm like, that's just like a Wes. I'm like, oh, of course Pablo Neruda, of course you love Pablo Neruda. But then Michael Bublé, and I'm like, I wouldn't like that, but all the other mavens would have loved it. All that good stuff. And then of course the Muriel, like, of course I love AARP-ageddon between Muriel and Millicent. It was like what a great little quick battle of the wits.
I'm sorry, did you say AARP-ageddon?
Yes, I did say yes. The American Association for Retired Peoples. Ageddon. But then also the quiet moments with Muriel. I always love when we get a chance for that. Rosemary, we got to see every single side of Rosemary today. I loved that Rosemary was actually taking the time to enjoy the road trip and not getting caught up in the mystery for a little bit and going on a little date. Like, hell yeah, Rosemary. I'm the type of person that loves to go people watching when I go out. Like, I'll be my, and especially if I see couples, I am that creep that's just watching how they interact and everything, because I love to see how people act. And so that was like, I felt like I was watching that. It was fantastic. And then being the willingness to sneak in, the August Dupin move was so good. God, what can I say about Belle that hasn't already been said? Great dildo references today. I would be remiss not to mention great dildo jokes and references today. Great crown move with the war and everything. Crown prompt. That was fantastic stuff. Yeah, just great scene altogether. And my wish is, I hope that Brindlewood Bay hasn't changed too much when we get back, just enough. But I know it'll probably be full on like hippie commune Disneyland when we get back. Maybe, I hope not. We'll see.
Yeah, I gotta give a star for everyone. As one thing that did get mentioned was the text message between the group of us. Like, it's just like,
That was
oh, yeah.
hilarious. That whole sequence was so funny. Like, everybody, like, yeah, it was really good.
Like, Doll was like, oh yeah, I went through a hole. It's super scary, but I'm okay. Alice is like, oh yeah, I'm going out to this possibly haunted sawmill, and Rosemary's just like, oh yeah, I'm on a date, y'all.
Yeah, and Muriel's phone's off. Like, it was all like really good.
Yeah, her phone was off because at that moment while that roleplay was happening, I was looking up 1930s slang for my commercial to write it. So I was just like, I'm not paying attention.
That's perfect. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but oh man, it was just like a very good like Muriel getting into trouble, where typically it's like, I think, Rosemary getting into trouble with the spooky stuff. So it was just a very fun to watch like other people get into trouble. Still, Rosemary did manage to get into trouble, just trying to attack a cop, because it's just like, oh god, I can't let my friend Alice die. But then it's just like, oh no, I got spotted by Alice.
Yeah.
Star for that, by the way. That was really like, that was like a great. I like it when like you could have just like chosen to like, you know, power game that and not react and you know, in a certain way, but I like that you chose to do that. So yeah,
gotta make it messy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man. I'm looking forward to the resolution of this mystery, because it reminds me of a few different mysteries that I've seen that you've ran, Jason, and I'm looking forward to like figuring out like how I can incorporate some things, because it's very thematic and I really like where it's going.
yeah. When I did the Nephews in Peril Kickstarter edition version of this mystery, I added a lot and changed a lot, and I basically changed it to be essentially my riff on Castronegro, so, which is really fun.
I was gonna say, this is public access meets The Secret of Castronegro, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a very like, you've got a perfect blend of like a little bit of dash of Castronegro, and then like X-Files, and then Hammer horror,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
got,
like public
it really
access.
does.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Any other stars or wishes?
Oh, stars for all the Kevin Bacon references. After I threw in the Footloose thing, everyone just ran with it. And it was wonderful. It was so fun.
You gonna make a reference to my boy Ren and not expect me to make more references to Footloose? Of course.
I love it. I love
a
it.
landmark film.
It's a good movie. If I ever see it, I always stop and watch it. Like whenever I stumble on it. Okie doke. I think that's going to be it then. We will pick up next week. Let's wave goodbye to everyone watching the video.